680's Richard Southern joins us. And Richard, the March housing numbers are in, and Toronto home sales are way down from a year ago, but there are concrete signs that the market is beginning to strengthen again.
Yeah, it's a really interesting report for the month of March. I mean, overall, the year-over-year numbers not good, continuing to show the market correcting. So sales down 39.5% this March over last March. The average price of a home sold in Toronto down 14% year-over-year to $784,000. Sales of detached homes fell more than other types. Here's the interesting thing, though. The average sale price in March was up 2.2% compared with February. And this is the third straight month that sale prices have risen from the prior month. And when you go back to about July, prices have actually been pretty stable. So this kind of pointing towards a possible rebound, Francis, as we enter the spring buying season.
Well, let's talk about this spat between the U.S. and China. It really is looking more and more like a trade war every day. Beijing announced sweeping tariffs on some of America's most notable exports.
Jack Daniels, soybeans, Ford cars, you know, the what's what of U.S. exports, Francis. Chinese government planning to impose these 25% tariffs on a list of 100 U.S. goods worth $50 billion. And this is really a response to the U.S. putting tariffs in place on Chinese goods, so it's a tit-for-tat type of thing. China's list, though, strikes at the heart of U.S. exports and things that come as well from a lot of Trump-friendly states like frozen beef and cotton. The market reaction, very interesting. The Dow plunged about 600 points at the open on this news, but then the Dow closed up 230 points. It was as Trump's economic advisor came out, Francis, and said, well, maybe the U.S. won't be putting tariffs in place on Chinese goods if China softens some of its trade rules. So none of this is a done deal just yet. At this point, it's all rhetoric.
Well, there's been a bit of a buzzkill on marijuana stocks on Bay Street. What's behind it?
Yeah, it's been a real tough week with some of the biggest names down about 20%. It's because of this. This is the cover of this week's Barron's magazine. This is an influential financial publication out of the U.S. The front page story highlighted the big valuations in the Canadian pot sector. It noted correctly that some companies are trading about 100 times their 2017 sales. So this may have opened U.S. investors' eyes to maybe short some of these Canadian pot stocks, that being bet that they'll go lower, or to outright sell some of them. So that's why we've seen a big sell-off for these stocks. Aurora Cannabis down another 5.5% today. Question, though, is, Francis, what's going to be the earnings going forward? I mean, in 2 years from now, will these companies be making big money? We also don't have a strict timeline on exactly when the drug's going to be legal. And thirdly, a lot of big Canadian banks have come out and said, once it is legal, we may get involved, and that could open the floodgates to more investment. So it's an interesting sector as we continue to watch that on Bay Street.
Well, what's old is new again in the fashion biz, so blue jeans are making a major comeback.
Yes, indeed. For the last couple of years, it was all stretchy athletic wear that really dominated the fashion world. Brands like Lululemon, Under Armour, and Nike sort of led that trend. But denim is indeed making a comeback, and we know that by looking at some corporate earnings. The most recent earnings from Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger said that their jeans segment had improved dramatically, they said. Levi's, the legendary jean maker, said they saw an 8% increase in sales last year, highest growth rate in a decade. Abercrombie and Fitch also noting higher jean sales. Francis, these retailers benefiting from the trend towards vintage clothing, towards 90s clothing, apparently.
Not light color blue jeans. Is that what we're talking about?
They're coming back, Francis. Everyone wants their vintage look, jean jacket and all. So I'm going to start sporting a jean jacket on the business report, I think.
Are you?
It's the in thing. I got to be in. I'm hip, right? I got to be in on it.
Maybe send me a picture, run it by me first, okay?
We'll get the fanny pack and the jean jacket. Be a good look.
Good. Can't wait. New report is finding out that Canada is one of the biggest wasters of food, and it's costing us all big money. So let's look at some popular devices that can cut down food waste.
A lot of people are actually buying these things, and it helps save the money. This is what they call the Blurple, Francis. $16.95. What it is, you put it in the fridge. It absorbs the ethylene gas, which is the gas that accelerates the ripening process of fruits and vegetables. So you put that in the fridge, your fruits and vegetables, they last longer. The Onion Saver is next. It extends the life of your cut onion.
I have one of those, Richard.
You do?
My mother-in-law, it's a joke. She gives me one of these things that look like the vegetable every year for Christmas. So I've got one.
Well, that's okay. She might have saved you some money in lost onions. How about the reusable food wrap? So you wrap up your perishables in this, and there's like beeswax coating to help keep food safe. $18 for that. Maybe you'll get that next Christmas. The Veggie Life Extender Liner. You put these in your vegetable drawers in your fridge, and it helps the air to better circulate to keep the fruits and vegetables lasting longer. The herb container. You put this in your door of your fridge. You put your herbs in there, your basils and what have you, and it's supposed to keep them lasting twice as long. And finally, the banana bag, Francis, for $11.99 extends the life of the banana dramatically, which we all need. Report found that food waste costs Canada about $30 billion a year. We waste 170 kilograms of food every year.
So I've got the asparagus, the long asparagus that looks like a bunch of asparagus. I've got the red pepper saver, and
really,
yeah,
you have all these things
every Christmas.
Your food is not going off anytime, so I'm coming over to your house to eat, Francis.
Sounds good. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.